name is Abigail Mupambi. I'm a human rights defender, a pro-democracy activist, and of course mainly leading the campaign on constitutionalism, popularly known as this Constitution campaign, a call for the rule of law. I come from Atebeleland North, Bubi district, and currently, of course, I've taken it upon myself into the race to parliament. Yeah, I was born in Mashingo, in Chibi, and of course, soon after my O-level, relocated to Matebeleland, where then I founded my family. Home for me now is Bubi district, like I've said. And of course, a little bit of some background. I once worked in Bulawayo in the commercial sector under the TM Hyper, and working in Bulawayo. Also, I was an active member in the labor movement. That's the ZCTU, looking much into the issues of the workers, representing workers. That's another section of myself from before I joined the government. And of course, at some point, I was a civil servant, an administrator, an administration officer with the Ministry of Public Works, local government, this ministry that always changes names, of course. I've seen a lot, I can say, along the journey. And being with a civil servant, when they talk their issues, I am not told. I know what it means. Being a worker in the commercial sector, I am not much of someone who will be told. And also as a former labor activist. So that triggered me, even when I joined the government, to decide to quit the closed kind of office work. I had a background of growing up in the rural communities, seeing how much the people are in need of assistance, how much the people are deprived even sometimes of just information. So I had this need and this feeling of wanting to go back and assist back and plow back into the communities. And in this case, I got an opportunity to be in the public service, where I voluntarily requested to say, can I go and serve in a rural community, of which I was given the opportunity, and I've served quite well in the Ministry of Public Works for about a few years, and I later chose to resign so that I wage a people's struggle in the developmental arena. That was in Bubi district. Like I said, visiting the journey in Bubi district, I would maybe probably speak around one of the most difficult times that I went through of choosing to live or to let go the bird in hand with the hope of catching 10 in the bush. I'll speak about the moment when I resigned as a civil servant and decide to say, let me serve the people in a manner that can give me space to understand what the people really need, what the people are really saying, what is really lacking in rural communities. Because I grew up in the very same setup. That's when I initiated a local NGO Progress Coordinating Trust. It was, of course, never easy in the community. You remember during that time there used to be these DCCs under Zanu-PF. It was never an easy arena. Each time you speak of a non-governmental organization, you were referred to as MDC. And it was never easy to establish such. Thank God there was some odd structure in the district which I mobilized the communities, and we turned that into our offices. And from there, we began to serve people in the social and economic programs. That includes skills, capacity building of communities and skills, linking certain people and groups to markets. I remember sometimes referring most of the diversified products from the communities with each member represented to the Harare Agricultural Show, people beginning to link themselves to marketing, Zanu-PF and Sangana Ihlanganani platforms. And to me, it was satisfaction for me. It was satisfaction for me. Kwaba into nje eyangichazayo, kwaba into nje ukuthi nama ngikhangele, I felt like I was saving better than trying to save my $300 salary when the community was really in need. Visiting one of the most crucial issues, the issue of human rights abuse. It was never easy, because at some point people would flock, and with this feeling of wanting to just have a listening ear to them in the community. I would talk of the issues around the women in Matabele and the two major cases around Christine Kumalo and Rebecca Sisiva, which failed even to this day to get justice until Christine Kumalo died. Rebecca Sisiva, she's now paralyzed. Men grabbing their projects, including their homesteads, in the evil injustice system. It's one project that is remained unfinished among several number of issues. We are lobbying for such issues. We've lobbied even for the issue of having our combis in Bubi, overcharging people during the holidays. It's now history in Bubi. We have taken action. We have moved even right now the hot issue, the complex, the whole DA's complex, including the magistrates offices and court, the Public Service Commission, DDF, all the whole complex, they operate without a toilet. We are taking it, of course, 38 years after independence, that we cannot expose the community and continue to expose, including the staff, the DA, they need protection. They are key people that cannot be said they are using the bush to this day. So I felt that there was a missing link. We needed to feed this arm, which always operating in Harare or in some towns, of having human rights defenders. And I'm happy even our youth in Bubi, they are beginning also to be active. Even some members of community, they are beginning to realize, so I feel like it was the road, my road to satisfaction. And of course that has brought me some 2 years ago to the campaign, this constitution campaign, where I felt that yes, projects we are doing, lessons learned from certain projects that when women did, corrupt officials, including business people, they connive and take away from women. Then I felt it was high time we launched for constitutionalism in our country, the rule of law question. So the rule of law question was an issue that became inclusive, cutting across the whole country. Most civil society organizations coming on board, joining the campaign, and of course there were lots of compliments. This flag, Tajamuka, everyone. It was the whole basket, and of course we need to take it forward to the end game, where we must make sure that we drive this country to a point where we say this is the Zimbabwe that we all want. So the job is ongoing in terms of that. While yes, community projects are ongoing, and there comes a time now I made an independent decision to take the rest to Parliament, realizing that democratic forces, including political parties and ourselves, we are all speaking the same language, the rule of law. And most of these things, they are banned in Parliament. You cannot speak the constitution outside Parliament. Yes, we can lobby from outside, but we need people to fix things from within. And this is the level I am now at in Bubi district. For for almost 10 years.
So you left your job in government, in the ministry, over 10 years ago?
Yes, actually this job, I started it when I was still in government. At some point, it was like now the government office, people would flock from villages to my office. You know, you save one person, the next person comes, the other one comes. Then it's like the office is now open for business, for some other business outside the parameters, guided parameters within the ministries. You understand the conflict of interest issues, while it's actually the administration itself. It's administered within the regime, of course, the government of the day. So I felt I had to look at the way they took. Yes, there was money. Yes, I had house security. I had the 5-room house, which they later took away upon my resignation. I had the people on the other side, and I had the passion for that. I felt it was better I lose the job and I lose the house and remain with the vision and the people. So I took it upon myself to move that direction.
So what has inspired what inspired your decision to leave your job, your safety net, to embark on this journey of trying to help the community? What happened?
All that was centered around also my background. I grew up in a rural community, and I realized that for me to have the window that I saw in life, it took a linkage somewhere. It took some information to reach me. It took other people to sacrifice, to say, we have a relative in such a place, let us go and pick them. So to me now, it was no longer about saying my real sister or my real blood brother. It was now about saying I need to do something for the community of Zimbabwe. And I was pretty sure from the research of my life that somewhere in the rural areas, other people that I left behind, irrespective of, are they in Bubi? Are they in Zumba-Maraba-Fungwe? They are in need of such services. So all I wanted, time was not on my side. Every opportunity I get, I need to serve the people. And I found it interesting. Each time I save one person, the next person, satisfaction is something that I find as enough reward for me. Because getting into such an industry, there will be no one to talk of you about the salary. To this day, if there's a donor who can stand and say they gave me a salary, they will be lying. One thing that has kept me going is to make sure that I reach others in the manner one person at one point reached me in life. It's a very difficult question, but anyway, there are always experiences like you have asked. It's quite a shorter experience, but very much concentrated with a lot of things. The good part of it is a learning cave, and of course towards the win. I believe in win, right? You can just, as you know, that the alliance is also in this process, not yet at primary, like going for primary. You understand the situation. But one disappointing fact that I can probably openly put across, there is this noise about the DNA, and it's quite unfortunate that at this point you find leadership beginning to talk of the DNA, the Shona blood. You sometimes wonder whether people are looking for the blood or they are looking for development. You sometimes stretch to that much, but anyway, it is an issue that I want to believe that through the leadership and the other structures is under control. There are several things that are not going according to anticipations. But one thing that I can say, I'm certain and I'm proud of the communities have remained backing me. The bond between me and the community is inseparable. And one thing that I can put clearly and publicly, it's not at this point the issue of beating who and who at a primary level. The enemy that we are faced with so far, the big elephant in the house, is Zanu-PF. And I've always tried by all means to just turn away from what I call some petty issues. Looking at how much we've moved in the struggle, the issues of tribal issues, to me, I wouldn't want to give them much priority at this point in time. What is now important is for people to forge ahead and they make sure that we replace this system that has dragged our country this far with a much more better, democratic, peaceful and legitimate system. Campaign strategy for me is just a continuation of what I've been doing. I have spoken about the human rights issues, and more critically right now, we would go closer to Bubi. I'm very sure if we are to put some ratings today, you would realize that Bubi district is the one of the districts that produces gold, and no doubt at a competitive higher level if you are to measure. But it is number one to have the worst road ever. You cannot talk of development without a road at this point in time. Look at the history behind Bubi. Do you know that the first school here in Zimbabwe, the first administrative structures, I talked of one of the structures that I turned into my office. The first administrative structures and the so-called Moffats and company, all they settled in Bubi. The history of this nation hovers around Bubi district and the Inyati. But looking even at tourist level, what is that which we have to show as Bubi? That we carry the intelligence, we carry the administration, or when education started, it was in Bubi. What is that which we have to show? We have big brains even in Bubi. Vana Dumiso from football, the former Homelas, Vanaba Pamire, and probably we need some coordination of some sort, some consolidated kind of leadership to begin to give Bubi the value that it deserves. You look at the mines, Omakorokosa, they are everywhere. We are failing to put in place, particularly I'll talk about even the indigenization policy. The policies that he has to protect our resources. That's the major role again at Parliament. Because we are sensitive even about the mining policy. Look at how much are the minor farmer disputes. It's an issue that touches policy. But we need legislators who push for policies which have a direct link with the ground where they come from. But what was all this? If you check, what was the role for legislators in Parliament? Pushing for issues that have got nothing to do even in their own constituencies. That is, if ever they once spoke in Parliament. So we are having this green Hansard. You wonder whether they exist or where. Probably they only exist in these T&S forms. So it's a high time we bring all these things home. It's a high time we know the role of the legislators in this whole discourse of development. So it will be the whole spectrum issue. And for me, it's nothing new. It will be just taking over from whatever that I'll be doing. Of course, with authority here and there to do it the better way.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.